Oh my God, I just totally got catfished. He looks absolutely nothing like his picture.
So I found out the guy that I've been dating is married with kids. His wife just reached out to me.
Welcome to the meat market. The single scene is the slaughterhouse, and we are here to devour it. We are your hosts. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Jess.
And today's sizzling single is Kevin.
Hello,
Welcome.
how are you?
Good. So you coach professional athletes.
Yes, baseball.
Tell us about that.
Baseball players mostly.
Are they dicks?
No.
No?
It's part of the
I've
reason.
heard so many bad things about them.
Well, it's part of the reason I don't say pick baseball, but I tend to like to train baseball and hockey guys more than football and basketball.
So football and basketball players are the dicks?
I wouldn't say they're dicks. The issue is that when they're growing up and they're very, very good, they're put on a pedestal at a young age, and you can go from like high school to the pros like the next day. And hockey and baseball, I think, even if you're like the first pick in the draft, you still have to work your way through the minors. So you learn how to grind and live on buses and travel.
True.
So when you get
humble.
there, you're more appreciative of what's going on, and you're not as entitled. I feel like a lot of
and they can call you up and down like at any given
Correct.
time. So like your
you could be the number one pick and never get to the big leagues.
Exactly.
Ever,
like your
in
spot
both
is never
sports.
secured,
And
really.
football and basketball, if you're number one, you're being starting tomorrow. You know what I mean? And that's generalizing. Like not every football or basketball player is like that. I played football, so. But as a business as a whole, like for instance, my guys, if they walk in and there's a gym full of people that they don't know, they'll walk up to each person and say, hi, nice to meet you, introduce themselves. When, in general, sometimes guys don't do that.
Yeah.
They call it big league people. They just don't talk to them unless they're in the same level, that kind of stuff.
So you said that you've been on so many bad dates that you're actually writing a screenplay based on this.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't know how good it'll be, but everyone I give the idea to, they like it, so... I started dating about 2 years ago, and I have some bad ones. Plus, I'm taking other people's, and I'm kind of putting it together. And then I want to make it like a I don't know how to explain it other than a love story between a daughter and a father and his daughter, but. Not a love story, but like, what I'm saying?
Not like sick, not like something like
an Arkansas love story.
Yes, no, not like that, but like
a heartwarming
relationship. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Where she works at a bar and he brings the dates to the bar and she sees, all that kind of
I was going to say we may have to end this episode
No.
early. We made a bad judgment call on this guest.
Yeah. Now she's cringing too. She's going to be like, what?
So what's your worst date story?
Worst would be hard to put. I mean, I have a few. One, a girl, she showed up and half of her face was tattooed. Like all on the side. But on her profile, she had no tattoos on her face.
Like, did she use makeup or filters, or
I
did
think
she only show like one side of her face in her
that's pretty
photos?
much
Like
how
it was
went.
like her good, her good side, her one side.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's pretty much how it was. And I mean, I ended it like on the spot.
You did? What did you say?
Well, I tend to, even if someone isn't like their pictures, like drastically, I'll still go on the date. I'm not a jerk. So I would never make them feel bad about it. But in this case, I'm like, half your face is tattooed. And I've never seen that before. I didn't see that in any of your pictures.
Was it cultural? Was she like native?
No, it was like her name or a name. Like, I don't even know what it said, but it was like writing, like a word or something, like stars. And quite honestly, I've seen it on some girls that it looks good, but also show it. Like, give me the option of being into that. And that's what I said. I said, look, people are into this, and you should be trying to cultivate those people, not somebody that's almost like, even if I was into it, you kind of lied about it already, so it's like bad.
Well, and it's almost too, again, like, what are you hiding? Like, why are you hiding it in your profile?
Be honest, right? Don't you want to put everything out there before you meet someone?
Well, that gets to my another date question, another bad date I had. Well, the girl was completely trans. Which
What?
is fine. It's whatever. But I literally had almost verbatim the same word for word interaction with her. I wasn't a dick, and I was like, look, some people are into this.
Yeah.
So be upfront about it, and, you know, you'll attract those people. Like, quite honestly, even if I was into it, I would not be now into you because you just lied to me for however
So
long.
did she tell you, or
Yes.
was it obvious
No,
when
no,
you
no,
saw
she
her?
told
Like,
me.
did
But she
she
told
still
you- It was
have the
not
Adam's
obvious.
apple?
She told you-
No, it was not obvious.
Not even in
She's-
person, it was
no.
not obvious.
She told you on the date, not
Yeah.
prior to the date, right?
Correct.
Had she had bottom surgery, or did she
I didn't
still
get
have a
into
dick?
it
You didn't
that
ask
far.
her that?
I
Oh,
didn't
I
get
would
it.
have. That would have been my first question. I would have had to have known. I assume she had top surgery.
Yeah.
Did she have boobs?
Yes,
She had
yes,
boobs.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, that would have literally been my first
Yeah.
question.
So wait,
She was
how
little,
did she
too.
tell you, or did you just know?
No, she told me. Yeah, yeah.
And so
You
how
could
did
not tell.
So how did you end the date?
The same exact way almost. Like, I'm like, I'm not mad. I mean, I'm a little mad, like waste my time or whatever. But if you would have told me this beforehand, we wouldn't have had this conversation or been here.
Would you have still gone on the date with her if she would have told you that she was trans, or
No.
would you have said, I'm not interested?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Or just
Okay.
put it in your profile,
But-
so I'm not
yeah.
even, you
Yeah.
know, wasting the time going back and forth with you on that.
I went on a date with a guy and I asked him what his craziest dating story was. And he told me he went to a club, met this beautiful Asian woman, went home with her, got naked, found out it was a man. It did not have the bottom surgery, but he still went forward and had sex. So some people are into that, you know?
Yeah.
It does
Correct.
work sometimes.
Yeah.
But
No.
that's also a lying.
That's
Until
my
up to
issue.
the
Yeah.
point.
It's not
That's
being
the
honest.
point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So speaking of sports in your industry, so I had a friend years ago. She was actually a mutual friend of ours, Lindsay. You know her as well. And she had a friend who was a trans woman, but she hadn't had bottom surgery. And she did like escort type stuff. She would date professional NFL players, NBA players, because they could fly her out. She was very beautiful. Her face was gorgeous. You could hardly tell, like the same, I'm sure, with the woman that you went on a date with. You couldn't tell. She'd had top surgery. She'd had her Adam's apple shaved. She'd had, you know, whatever work done to
yeah.
her face. She was a gorgeous woman, but she still had a penis. And these athletes who are on the DL who can't come out because they're in the professional
Well, Lamar
sports
Odom's girlfriend
world.
is trans.
Yes, yeah. These men would fly her out. They would buy her bags. They would take her on dates, because when the men are at a restaurant with someone who looks like her, the paparazzi doesn't think anything of it, because they just think, oh, you know, so and so is out on a date with a beautiful woman. They don't realize, you know, that no, these guys are actually on the DL, and that's what they look for. That's why they are with her, because, you know, she looks like what she looks like on the top, but she has what they like on the bottom. Like, so it's crazy. There's a lid for every pot. Like,
There is.
you know what I mean? But be upfront about it.
Dwight Howard's the same way too.
Interesting.
NBA guy, 2 NBA guys.
I guess it makes pegging easier because you don't need the strap on, right? And I know a lot of guys are into that. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us
Oh,
about
we're
your...
getting into it.
I feel like we talk about pegging on every single
We do.
You do?
We've been talking about pegging a lot lately. Like,
I guess it's like the new trend.
Must be a thing.
So tell us about you. What do you do for fun? What are your hobbies? What are you looking for?
So what I'm looking for, that's a funny question. It's like literally the first question on every app for every message, like second, third messages.
do you ask it, or do women ask it of you? You do not ask it.
I don't,
Okay.
because for this reason, I think men and women are different. I think women sometimes answer, I want a long-term relationship. I want relationship. Me personally, I don't know about it. I can't speak for other guys. I think sometimes guys are just in it to chalk up data.
Notches on
you know,
it,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think I know that I want to find a person that I want a relationship with. I don't want a relationship. Most of the time, I like being by myself. I need someone that makes me to not want to be by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when where you get into trouble is if you're looking for a relationship, you'll get into one without the right person because you want a relationship.
You don't care who it's with.
First
You're so
you
focused on
probably
the
care
relationship.
a little bit, but
Yeah.
not like to the point where I want to be with somebody that makes my life better on all levels. And that's everybody. It's cliche to say that, but also like more specific. Like I want to be happy. I want to do stuff. I want everything. That's not always going to be great, but you know, it's who you want to be with and see all the time. Not I want to be in a relationship. I want to see this person because it's what I'm supposed to do, you know?
It's definitely better to be alone than to be in a relationship with the wrong person.
Yeah,
And I feel like sometimes people do force it because they're so scared of being alone. They can't be alone.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's my problem too. Because I'm like, I love hanging out with myself. Like, I'd rather hang out with myself all day long than hang out with somebody. That's like,
it blows my mind how
boring.
people will be in long relationships, 7, 8, 9 years. Boom, boom. As soon as they're done, right into another.
We know so many men like that. They have another girl lined up before they even break up.
I think
with
that's
their
a
current
little
girl.
different because I think it's reboundish, and they are just trying to assert their attention other places, and it's fleeting. On the flip side, I think women get into it because people are codependent in general, some people. And the codependency really comes out when it comes to that kind of, I can't be by myself. You should learn to be by yourself and have a great time by yourself before you get with somebody.
I did read an article that was saying statistically lonely people or people that aren't in a relationship die earlier. Did you read that article?
I did, but I read that when men are married, they live like 20% longer. When women are married, their lifespan's shorter.
Interesting.
I can believe that.
Yes.
I can too. And I think it depends on if you're lonely and unhappy because like I love being alone. Like I can't imagine myself dying earlier.
Right.
Being alone because I'm like so happy being alone.
And you have to have somebody that's going to make you not want to do that.
Yeah.
So you're not looking for I don't even know if you guys are in a relationship, but if you don't want to be in a relationship just because.
Yeah, no, I'm not in a relationship and I'm not looking for a relationship for the exact reason that you're saying, because I don't want to just be in a relationship to be in a relationship. I think that's stupid. Like,
so
I'm also, I not prefer, but I'm completely open to long distance for that reason. Like if you have the means to be able to travel and see somebody, then I think it gives you kind of the best of both worlds where you're by yourself for, I don't know, 50%, 30%, 80% of the time. And then you get to see the person that you want to be with after.
and then it's like special when you do see
can
each
be,
other.
yeah.
I love your hat. So
Thank
you're
you.
a father.
I am.
I love how you're
my
proud and you want to
favorite
announce it.
It's
So
my favorite thing in the whole world, for sure.
How old is she?
I have 2.
Oh, okay.
My daughter is 27.
Okay.
And then I adopted my ex-wife's daughter when she was 4.
Oh, how wonderful.
She's 15 now.
So which one is going to be cringing at the
The
daddy
younger one
daughter
probably
story?
won't watch because she doesn't even. It's so weird. She doesn't see anything on social media. It's weird because her
And she's
age group-
15?
Yeah. It's
Wow,
crazy.
that's interesting.
But my oldest will. We've had our back and forth when it comes to like dating and women and stuff like that. So.
Do you have to approve women by her? Like, do you
I
run
would
women
like
by
that.
her?
Yes.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
How long do you
We're
wait before
very close. What?
How long do you wait before you introduce a woman?
Oh, I go there on the first date. I'll bring them to her bar.
Really? Oh.
Really? That's funny.
She's a bartender, so yeah.
Where does she bartend?
Do you want me to say where?
Yeah.
Sorry, Lane. The Porch in Tempe.
Oh, okay. I like the porch.
Yeah.
And I'm not biased. I am, but I'm not. She is beautiful. Like, beautiful, beautiful.
So we're going to the porch for
You
drinks.
come.
Yeah.
Go anytime you want.
After we're
Yes, go
done
there.
recording today, is she working today?
Her name's Delaney. Yes.
Delaney.
Yeah,
Oh, I like that name.
Delaney.
That's cute.
Yeah. And my other one lives in Northern California. So,
Okay.
and
That's
it's-
funny. Do you tell your dates that you're bringing them to meet your daughter, or do you just show up
No.
at the bar and you're
I'll
like,
tell
oh,
them.
by the way, this is my
No,
daughter?
I'll
You
tell
let them
them.
know.
Yeah,
How do
I'm
women-
super upfront with almost pretty much everything that I
Okay.
do, for sure.
Do women get excited about that, or are they a little apprehensive about that?
If they are, they would say it, and then I just wouldn't. I'll say, like, if you don't mind, we'll go there. If not, then I don't care. We don't have to.
I was going to say, because that's something that I feel like I would not be comfortable
Really?
with if a guy was like on
You're
the first
older
date.
though. I feel like you should be. It's not like meeting my parents when you're 20 or something.
No,
like
I know. That's true. I just feel like kids, I don't know, because I don't have kids
Yeah.
and I never really like wanted kids of my own. So when guys want to introduce their kids to me really early on, I don't know. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable.
I do agree with you on that. If the kids were
younger,
kids.
That's true.
She's
an adult.
Woman,
That's true. That is
It'd be
true.
no. Well, yeah, she's my kid, but she's not a kid by any means. She's
that
probably
is true.
more. She's probably more adult, more
mature.
Yes, than I am. By far, by the way.
So how tall are you? You seem pretty tall.
I'm like 6'3".
6'3".
Yeah.
The ladies are gonna love you. We always get women saying, "I want a tall guy."
It's such a thing.
I actually lie. Not shorter, but I'm like, if you meet me out and I have shoes on and stuff, I'm probably closer to 6'4" than 6'3". I just say I'm 6'2" or 6'3", and for that reason, because I hear that every single guy lies about their height.
They do.
And
as a tall girl, it's
you two are both tall.
Yes, and so I've met guys before that I'm
care?
like. I do because I like to wear, like, I'm typically in sneakers, but like if I'm dressing up, I like to wear heels. So if I wear heels, I'm 6 foot. Like, and so I don't know. I want to be able to wear heels and be.
You could still wear heels and be taller.
No, I do. I do. And it doesn't necessarily bother me, but I know it bothers guys.
Yeah.
It bothers guys sometimes,
probably.
or it has in the past. Yeah.
So don't you get hit on a lot? I can imagine that you have a lot of women chasing after you.
I don't go out that much.
And with your baseball circle, like, do you have an issue with baseball groupies being around? Cleat chasers.
Is that what they call them?
Yeah.
Cleat chasers?
Not me. I mean, they're way below my age bracket
being
now.
around, but just being around and being in that scene and in that environment, do you find?
I don't see it. I mean,
you don't?
Quite honestly, I'd say 90% of my guys are married.
Okay. Happily,
which is a whole nother
faithfully,
crazy. That's
loyally.
They all are. They all are. That's great.
Okay.
I wouldn't have done that when I was their age for sure. Mm-hmm. But I'm a little different. Like, I never drank. I've never I've never drank, never did drugs.
You've never had a cocktail?
I've had probably 20, 25 drinks total in my life. I'm not against it. And that's another thing that comes up on dates. Like, I've had people that didn't want to go out with me after the first time because I didn't drink.
I was going to ask you that. Is it unattractive to you if a woman
Not
drinks
at all.
too much?
Not
what if
too
she drinks
much.
too much?
I think it's more unattractive of how you are if you drink too much.
Okay.
You could drink a lot and be super fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's another bit. This is in the script if I ever make it. In this 2 years, I've probably gone out with, I would say, 5 girls more than twice. One of them, so I used to have a house in Newport Beach, and it's a great area, great area. And I met this girl. She's beautiful. She was awesome. We had a date at the beach. It was great. Went out that night, and it's literally like Cinderella. When it struck midnight, she got absolutely crazy. But that's because she drank a lot. And we went out 3 different times. We were a lot closer than you would think that 3 dates were, but it was almost like repeat. On the 3rd date, we went, stopped at my house to go to her house. I had to go upstairs to get like clothes or something. And she was like, I was up there for at the very most 3 to 4 minutes. I came down. She's like, I'm getting an Uber. I'm going home. I'm not waiting this long. And I was like, what is going on here? Are we in the Twilight Zone? She's like, I don't wait. This is crazy. I was like, hold on. Now, this has happened 3 times out of 3 dates. Everything has been fantastic until it wasn't. And then when it wasn't, it went from sugar to shit in like 2 minutes.
So she's an angry drunk?
Well, yes.
She hits a wall.
She hits
she drinks.
She hit a thing
hits
and
a
she was
wall.
gone. And I was like, you got to get that Uber, and we are not going out ever again. And that's how it was. And that date, we were walking down the boardwalk, and we would stop periodically, and she would do a shot. But I didn't see that as a red flag. Probably looking back, it's probably a red flag.
Yeah.
Because I don't care if you drink. I do not care. It makes zero. I'm not anti-drink. I don't like the way it tastes. So, like, if I don't like olives, I'm not eating olives. It's the same exact thing. I just not into it.
Did she message you the next day and apologize?
We have talked since and been friends, but I told her we will never be romantic. We will never be in any sort of relationship.
What if she says, I'm going to quit drinking? No, really?
Because that would have to take years for me to realize that happened.
Yeah,
that's
a slow
99% of people go back to the way they were at some point. You know, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Too old.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for it. They keep more
That's
minutes.
it? That was easy.
We're done.
We're not letting you off the hook that easily.
It's just a commercial.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
okay.
We'll be right
Okay,
back to the show.
Stay tuned.
The Keep More Minutes brought to you by Tactical Tax Strategies. They help you keep more in your wallet. We help you keep more in your relationship. We have got a listener question. Today is from Priyanka in Phoenix. She says, I am getting married in July and I'm getting very stressed with my bridal party and it's just making me not want to get married. One of my bridesmaids has a limp and my mother doesn't want her in the wedding. I would normally just tell my mom to stay out of it, but she's paying for the entire wedding, all $80,000 of it. How do I keep my friend Limpy Lizzie without upsetting mommy money bags?
Wow. So
I
first of
have
all,
a hard answer for
that
this
is,
one.
I
I tell mom to go away. I don't care if you're paying for it. That's terrible.
have big issues when people make other people's weddings about themselves.
Yes.
So I lost 2 friends. When we got married, it was just my immediate family. My husband's,
I know I wasn't even invited to your
No,
wedding, and
no
I
one
was,
was.
and I was a little upset
it
about
was
this.
my mom,
back
my
in
dad,
the
my
day.
brother,
I'm
my
over
sister,
it
that's
now.
it. Because my husband's parents passed when he was younger. So I wanted them to be there at the wedding. So we literally got married at their gravesite. They're buried next to each other. So we got married there so they could be included in the wedding. And I have cousins and aunts in town that I didn't invite. We just wanted it super small. Literally, I had 2 friends call me the day of just blasting me. And I was like, you ruined my wedding day. How dare you make this about you?
Yeah.
This is my day, you
Agreed.
know? And they're so selfish. And we haven't spoken to this day, 10 years later.
If mom is paying and holding, she shouldn't be holding over anybody's head that she's paying whatsoever.
Yeah, it should be unconditional.
Correct.
If a parent pays
I'm
for your
offering
wedding,
to pay, do whatever you want.
And the fact
Yeah.
that she's stressing out her own daughter about her wedding and
That's
kind of
crazy.
ruining the experience.
I feel like it's like the mom's probably living vicariously. Like she
Yeah,
didn't have her
100%.
own wedding, or she didn't have control over her own wedding. And so now she's like, I'm paying. She's using this as like a bargaining chip. Like, I'm paying for the wedding, so I get to control.
I'm curious though, what does it matter if she has a limp? Like, is she worried about the videos? Or
I
like,
know,
like
right?
you can't tell in a picture. Like, what is she worried about? Like, other people's opinions? How
That's
miserable that
crazy.
you're so concerned
Yeah.
about
I
other
feel
people's
bad for her.
opinions.
As somebody who works with disabled people, it I
feel bad for
I'm the
them.
first one who's like, ADA, I know it's not like a legal thing, but like everyone has a right to be a bridesmaid in a
Yeah.
wedding, okay? Even if they have a limp.
Like, I would be like, if you don't want to pay, fine, I'll do it without you. I'm going to have Limpy Lizzie in my wedding, and we'll get married somewhere else on the beach where it's free, where I don't need your money. Anywho. So now we're going to talk about an article, a new dating trend. So toleomery. Have you heard of toleomery?
No, there's so many
So
things.
the
I don't know.
controversial new dating trend. I know you know many people. I know many people that indulge in toleomery. So the article starts with,
it is.
when Kathy was holding her husband's mistress's hair back as she vomited in her bathroom, she knew her marriage had hit rock bottom. Kathy knew her husband was cheating on her, and his mistress didn't seem to mind that she knew. She isn't the first and certainly won't be the last woman my husband has had an affair with. Toleomery is just a fashionable word for betrayal. It's where you know your significant other is cheating, but you turn a blind eye.
So it's like tolerating. You
It's
just
like, yeah.
tolerate.
And
That's
I've
where it
known
comes
so
from.
many people in my past that their significant other is cheating, but they don't want to leave. They love them so much that they just act like,
Is it that, or is it because it'd be too hard, too messy to get divorced as well?
Either too messy, or like, have you seen those reels where it's like the woman walks in the house and she's like, walking home to my billionaire husband, and she opens the door and sees him with another woman in bed and then turns around. So it's like, is the husband just like funding her lifestyle?
Yeah.
Is it,
Right.
you know? And with the men, like with men, it's like it's cheaper to keep her half the time.
sure.
So it's like rather just have an affair than file for a divorce. But then the wife who's, you know,
They clearly already don't like each other anyways.
right? Well, this goes on to
Exactly.
say that, you know, Kathy's been married for 30 years. She knows of at least 6 women her husband has slept with. Her daughter even caught them cheating,
Oh, that's
him
the
cheating.
worst. That's the worst.
You might think that our sort of arrangement no longer exists, but recently I learned our situation is increasingly widespread. There's even a new trendy term for turning a blind eye to your partner's affairs, toleomery. I can tell you it's just a fashionable word for betrayal. She wasn't numb to her husband's affairs, but simply had made a decision that his infidelity was a price she was willing to pay to keep the life they'd built together. As a result,
money.
I've kept my husband, who has supported me in my life, along with my standing in the community and my beautiful home. So yeah, she doesn't.
So is it because she loves him or because she loves the money?
I think
I
So
think
it's
she
just
loves
also bad too. That's bad too.
Uh-huh.
It's transactional relationship at that
And I know
point.
when you have
for
kids,
sure.
it's tough too.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to separate the family and affect the kids. But then she does say that he was telling me he would be satisfying his libido elsewhere. Her and her husband once had a healthy sex life, but troubles with endometriosis and nasty perimenopause eroded that. I was feeling tired, bloated, and instead of being understanding, he let me have both barrels, and he went elsewhere. And that's kind of what happened to in sickness and in health. You know, you should be supportive. And then he said that, he was going to be satisfying his libido elsewhere.
Huh. I'm a proponent for, like, if you're not happy in your relationship, you should just leave.
Yes.
Like, you should not stay in a relationship.
Because of the kids? I don't
Because of
believe
the
that.
kids or
I
because
think
of
that
money or
actually
anything.
leads to worse things for the kids.
I
when
do
they
too.
get older.
I do
I actually
too.
sat next to one of the top divorce lawyers, both here and in, I think it's La Jolla, and she was telling me how it's actually worse for the kids for a bad marriage or parents to stay together. It affects the kids worse. Sometimes it's better.
Yeah.
To get
Well, it's like,
divorced.
as much as you try to, like, hide the fighting or whatever, like, the kids
No.
always know
They're
what's going
intuitive.
on. Like,
And the
kids
older
are
they get, the
smart.
worse it'll get.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you do see a lot of these women that have very rich spouses or boyfriends, and they don't leave them because of the money, because they don't want to give up that lifestyle. You know, I mean, I personally would leave, but you can see, so what, they're going to have to get a job? I know
Yeah.
someone that doesn't leave their cheating partner because she doesn't want to work. She hasn't worked for
Yeah.
over 10 years, and she doesn't want to go to work.
I have a friend that's been going through a divorce for probably 6 years now, and it's because she's not getting the check that she thinks that she deserves, but she's the one who fucked her trainer while she was married. And
Now
like,
she knows
I'm
who
like,
you're talking about.
You might.
No, I'm saying she knows
You
now.
might-
They say-
yeah, well, yeah. We are since not as good of friends as we used to be, and so it's whatever. But I would tell her that all the time. I'd be like, listen, like, you're the one that stepped out on your marriage. Like, like, you want me to side with you.
But Arizona doesn't recognize that, by the way.
That's so weird to me, because I'm like, you want me to side with you and take your side and be against your husband. And I get it. Like, you guys had a shitty relationship. Yeah, you were both bad to each other. But at the end of the day, you didn't just leave. Like, you went and slept with someone else. And so it's like, when the relationship was bad, you could have just left. And then you could have went and slept with whoever you wanted to. Like, do that. But it's like, but here you are, you stepped out of the marriage, and now you're holding off this divorce. You've been in this nasty divorce for years and years and years because you're not getting the money that you think you deserve. Like,
Don't you think, though, a lot of athletes' spouses engage in toleomery? Like,
yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, when he was in town at Bottle Blonde, we have insiders that told us, allegedly, I don't want to get in trouble, that he had a threesome with two bottle girls there, and that happens often. And you hear of basketball players' wives that allow that you can have, one affair a year. You know, I mean, I guess if they're going to do
like
it,
6 though, probably.
Yeah,
One
it'd be
that-
probably like every time they go out of town, right?
And
in baseball season, how many times a year is that? Like 77?
I mean, no more. No, that's 181 games.
81 away games.
And I guess if they're going to do it, you may as well have an honest, open communication about it and know all the details, know all the facts.
That leads me to, I get a lot of messages from couples.
Okay.
Like, that's a thing now, I guess.
They want to bring you in.
But it's not even on my profiles that's what I'm looking for or anything like that.
Are you on like the fetish apps?
No.
What apps are you on,
Tinder,
Kevin?
Hinge. That's it.
Well, we had a guest that was
It's
a
always
bull.
on Tinder, though.
It's
never
always on
Hinge.
Tinder.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
I have heard that Tinder's more of a hookup app. I think.
I was on Tinder when it came out, to the point where you were running out of people to
That's
swipe.
when I was on
That's
it
when I
back in
was
like
on it.
2011,
Yeah.
2012. That's the only time I've ever been on
Literally
it was
run
back
out.
then when it first came out. And I remember that would happen
There's
to
no
me.
more people
That would
in your
happen to me
area.
happen to me all the time. I'd swipe and swipe and swipe, and then pretty soon it'd be like, you have no more available
Yeah.
matches. And I'd be like, well, I haven't even swiped
Yes,
right on anybody
exactly.
yet. Like, what?
And then for guys, like 95% of likes happen to 95% of the guys.
I've read that statistics. That's kind of sad.
No,
Yeah.
95. The other way, 95% of likes happen to
5%
5% of the guys. So
yes.
it's the lesser
Yes,
percentage of the
yes.
guys. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's a tough go
Yeah,
out there for
it
guys
is.
on
It's
dating
rough.
apps.
So getting into the celebrity cut, I hear that, so Jessica Biel apparently is a toleomerist. Because,
Really?
Well, no, I mean,
he said single. He's all hopeful.
excited.
He's like Jessica Biel,
She's
call
like
me.
my North Star.
is she really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if
She's your hall
If I
pass.
had a like, I don't think I have a type, but if I had a type, it would be her type of that kind of style of a girl.
Okay.
But doesn't Justin Timberlake cheat a lot on her? Like, we know
Jessica
Alicia.
Biel.
Yeah. Like, we know he cheated
Oh,
with Alicia.
I'm mixing her up with
Jessica Alba.
yes.
Oh, she's
She's single.
now.
She's
She is-
single.
She
yes.
is beautiful.
I mean, Jessica Biel in person is
Oh, you've met her?
holy moly. Not like met her, but I've seen her. I wasn't introduced to her, but she is stunningly beautiful in person.
She's naturally pretty.
Yes.
But Jessica Alba is
Oh,
as well.
Both
I
of
bet.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my North Star, Jessica Alba.
Jessica Alba.
So Jessica Biel, like, kind of turns a blind in the sense that we know he
true?
cheated with
That makes
Alicia
me mad.
because they
With
were like
who?
in New
With
Orleans, like
Alicia?
on a balcony for all the public to see.
With who?
An actress that he was doing a movie with. He was filming in New Orleans.
Oh, I
remember?
kind of remember
And then he had to
this
issue the apology.
happening.
But that's not the first time. So I guess I
Yes.
did some research, and I guess him and Olivia Munn had a thing.
Okay.
And she forgave him for
Here's the
Jessica
thing.
Biel forgave him for that.
When you have access, temptation would be so hard. It doesn't matter how good looking the girl is.
It's true.
Your wife.
Your
like
wife,
your
the girl
person.
that you have at home, like the woman
Yeah.
that you have at home.
You're
It doesn't
only
matter.
is a terrible thing to say, but sometimes you're only as faithful as your options.
It's true.
sometimes.
And self-control can be hard.
Yeah.
It's as a man, if you have all these women just offering themselves to you, like
How-
men,
could
it would
be
be hard
hard.
for a lot of them to say no.
Yeah.
The thing I have to combat that is just keep yourself out of those situations. Because, if you do that and you kind of know, like, not necessarily that you're a cheater, you don't have to be a cheater, but if you're out and about and something crazy goes down, like, you keep yourself out of those situations. That's all.
Well, and again, all this is
I
allegedly.
mean, I
don't want
guess
to get
it's
in
tough
trouble.
when you're an actor and you're in a movie with someone that's a 15 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially if you're playing a romantic role
Yes.
with them, like where you're having to be like lovey and
Yes,
touchy
yes.
on set, and then you're having to spend all this time with them off set as
Right?
well. It makes it hard. Yeah.
But I've heard it's like known allegedly that Justin Timberlake cheats all the time. Like, I forget, it was someone we knew had told us that she went to his concert and like his bodyguard came up to her and was like, hey, Justin wants to take you home, kind of propositioned her. And she's
Yeah.
like, A, he's married, absolutely not. And B, I'm married, absolutely
Well,
not.
and I've also heard rumors that Justin Timberlake is sort of fluid because remember when he got the DUI?
Yes.
Apparently, in the toxicology report, there were poppers in his bloodstream.
What?
And
You guys are throwing it out there. Jeez.
apparently, and one of like the antivirals that is like a prep, that is like an HIV prep. Drug. I don't know. And it's funny because the time that this report came out, I was hanging out with my cousin and his husband, and my cousin, who's obviously gay, he's married to a man. He was like, do you know anybody that's straight that does poppers and is on prep? And I was like, no, I
What's
guess
prep?
not, like the HIV prep, like
Oh.
the like, and so he's like, no, like what's in his toxicology report is fairly like
And it's public. I know that.
yeah, like it sort of has implications that he might, swing both ways.
That's funny
Who
you said.
knows?
So when I was about 18, living in Japan, I was at HMV. Do you remember HMV? This is going to age me, where they sold the CDs.
No.
You don't remember HMV? Maybe it's in English.
Were
Like
they
Virgin Records or Tower
Oh, yeah,
Records.
yeah,
Virgin Records, yeah.
Kind of
HMV, were they in the States or was it just
It might be in
I've
English
never
then.
heard of it,
Yeah.
Anyhow, me and my Dutch friend were there, and this guy comes up to us and says, "Hey, NSYNC are playing upstairs on the 7th floor. Do you want to come in? I'll give you front row access." And this was in 2000, so they were pretty new. I had heard their songs, but I didn't know of them. I didn't know the songs were them. So we're like, sure. So we go up and, watching them dance and sing. And I did know the song, so I was kind of singing along. The manager after said, "Hey, come meet them backstage." So we're backstage, and I said to Joey Fatone, I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't know who you guys were. Like, you guys were great." And he's like, "You didn't know who we were, huh? How come you knew all the lyrics to our songs?" I'm like, "Oh shit, he totally called me out." And I'm like, "Well, I knew the songs, I just didn't know that it was you." So he's like, "We want to go to a party tonight. Where should we go?" I'm like, "Lexington Queen. That's the club I used to frequent and where all the celebrities used to go." We go to the Lexington Queen that night. We're hanging out with them in the VIP. And I could have heard wrong because the music was loud, but I'm pretty sure me and my Dutch friend heard the same thing, that we were talking to Joey Fatone, and he says to us, "Yeah, I'd have you do me in the ass, but my ass is kind of big, so that might be kind of dangerous."
Ew!
And I swear that's what we heard, but again, the music was
2000?
loud. We could be wrong. And so we
Before
were
it was
18 years
cool?
old.
Before it was cool.
We went to an all-girls Catholic school run by nuns, so we were like, "Oh!" We're like scurrying away.
Oh my God.
But that's what we heard. And it
funny.
was just,
You also have to remember, more than likely, they could just be getting bored all the time.
That's true.
From the amount of girls that they've had. I mean, they were popular before social media.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's a whole different ballgame back then. When Motley Crue was around and they were doing stuff, it's crazy. The stories
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that we always talk about is like back then there was no cameras recording everything.
Right.
Like people's cell phones weren't out recording everything.
It's true. Think of the stuff they got away with.
Yes, that they were able to say, and that will never.
I bet they hate social media because they probably were able to get away with so much debauchery back then, like cheating, and now can't get away with that.
But same
kind
with
of
like
stuff.
athletes too. Like it's the same for every high profile. I feel like every high profile.
The Dallas Cowboys literally had a house called the Party House and the Party Boat when they were in the 90s. And it was girls and cocaine 24/7.
Hookers and blow, baby.
Yeah. And nobody has any recollection of it because there's no
of course.
cameras.
It's like the Mandela effect,
Yeah.
right? Like if we just tell you it never happened, it never
doesn't happen.
happens.
So where do you take someone on a first date? A restaurant, a bar? Do you have a favorite place?
probably. Like, depends. I would like to go on hikes on a first date, but I don't think it's probably something that they would like. It also can seem cheap.
Are you dating women that don't have the same interests as you? Or
I'm not saying that. I just think as a first date, they might think I'm cheap or something because I want to go on a hike.
I see.
Or
But then you don't want those kind of women, right? I know some women expect like a fancy meal, but
I don't do that either. I go like in the middle. Pizza's great, by the way, because it's like takes a long time to make. It's not like $250 or something like that.
That's true.
And you can sit there and talk and stuff like that for a while. There's
you
some
know what
good
restaurant
places.
I like? It's in the Tempe, Chandler area. Rigatoni's. It's an Italian family-run restaurant. Have you been there?
I've been there.
It's so good, right? Didn't
Why
we
is
go
that
there together
funny?
once? Why is that funny?
Jeez, there's got to be something behind that.
Anyway, every entree comes with a salad, and it's like with salami and cheeses. It's so good.
You dated the owner?
I typically don't like leave my bubble to go on dates. I've never been there on a date, but I'm pretty sure that was like his mom's favorite restaurant.
Rigatoni's,
so like
right?
we went there a couple of times. Yeah.
Isn't the food good?
Yeah, it was good.
And I like it because they
was
have a
good.
lot of options. I kind of got sick of the typical Italian food. They have a lot of different dishes that have like a white sauce, like a creamy garlic Parmesan sauce, or they have such variety.
Yeah.
I do love restaurants. It's like probably if I had to pick one thing to do that wasn't like a sporting event or a concert or something, I like going to different restaurants.
What's your favorite
I
restaurant?
don't say I'm a foodie because I'm very picky when it comes to food, but I do like trying new foods. My favorite restaurant's Dominic's for sure.
Oh, I like Dominic's.
Where for pizza though? Like where?
So I'm a pizza snob.
Are you? Okay.
Absolute pizza snob.
Okay.
I'm from Chicago. And deep dish is not Chicago style pizza, so let's get that out of the way.
You might want to say that into that
It's
camera.
from Chicago. It's not Chicago style. Tavern style, which I don't even like calling it that, but that's what everyone calls it now. That's not from Chicago. It's like thinner, but cut in squares. That's my favorite kind. The best pizza in Arizona. It's not even close. Nobody's heard of it because it's way the F out there. It's in Surprise. It's off of Bell 60 in the 303 area. It's called Dino's, Denos. It's the best. The best.
That's way outside my bubble.
Yes, it's super far.
I'd have to pack an overnight
super
bag.
Far, yeah.
You need
I
your
used
passport.
to live out there, so it was easier.
What's the weather out there right
Yeah, exactly.
now? What's the time?
Yeah, it's too far.
Time change?
I'm gonna need road trip
So
snacks.
if you're looking in like Scottsdale area, I would say Vito's Italian restaurant on.
Isn't that in Mesa?
No.
Vito's?
That there is one in there, but there's another Vito's. It's on Scottsdale and Pinnacle Peak area. Lou Malnati's thin crust is fantastic.
I've heard of that.
I live right across the street from the Lou Malnati's in Arcadia, and that's what I
thin crust.
I always get the thin crust.
Yes.
I get the thin crust with. I can always get spicy jardinera on top too. So good.
That's blasphemy for pizza, but that's
It
okay.
is?
I mean, for me,
No,
yes,
didn't
I only
know
get
that.
cheese
Oh, you only get cheese?
because that's like traditional pizza.
Oh, okay.
So when I rate a pizza,
It has to be
rate a
cheese.
pizza,
How
but-
do you feel about the Trevor's hype?
so I'm not a Neapolitan guy. It's good for Neapolitan, but
Yeah.
I would never give a Neapolitan like over like a 7-8.
Okay.
What is a Neapolitan?
Okay.
It's like the kind of pizza you get in Italy.
Like the oven baked, like
Oh.
in the
Yeah.
when it's stoned, like in
Got-
the.
yeah,
in
But
the-
by the way, I've been to Italy and their Neapolitan slaps. It is so good out there.
So we're not
It's
doing it
completely
right
different.
here.
It's good. It's just not it.
Not authentic.
Dave Portnoy rated it super high, so it's like getting really famous because of it.
Yeah.
But he likes New York style, like that kind of
Okay.
stuff. And then the last one is Spinato's, is very good.
Oh, yeah,
But you
Spinato's
have
is
to
good.
like sweet sauce because I feel like they put sugar straight in the sauce. It's really good, but yeah, those are my three. Dino's is by far the best though.
So you're probably going to kill me for saying this, but I love Grimaldi's. They're white pizza.
Yeah, I do not like Grimaldi.
Really? Oh my God.
No, but it's like a cracker.
It's so
It's
like
so
lavash.
thin. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like
It's true.
oregano's for
Oh,
thin,
yeah.
thin.
Oregano's is
pretty good, but I do not like Grimaldi's. I was in a B&I group for a while, and that was where our weekly meetings were, and I was always like annoyed that I had to eat it for lunch once a week.
Ready for the meat grab? You down for
Sure.
the challenge, up for
Sure.
the grab, willing to
I
share?
feel like
Pick
you've been
one if you're
trying to
there.
hype me up, and I keep
this-
I like overpassing what you guys are saying for me.
meat grab.
Pick a truth or dare. Some questions are innocent, some are not so innocent. The meat where you grab a dirty question.
Oh, okay.
It's not what you think.
Have you ever lied to get laid? If so, tell us about it. Well, that's lame, because no.
You
I have
haven't?
not. No.
You know what, though? Actually, it's interesting that you grabbed that question. So I have a friend, an old friend, who we used to go out in Old Town, Scottsdale, like back when you and I were going out in like 2012-ish. And he was tall, and he always wore a baseball cap. And so he would lie, and he would say that he was in town for spring training. And he
Yeah,
would
that's
get laid
lame.
so
I'm sure.
Who is
often.
this? Oh, you probably can't say the
I'm not
name,
gonna
but
say
I
his
kind of
name,
remember this
but do
person.
you-
Did
Yes.
you guys used to go out in Old Town all the time?
Oh, all the time.
I was
Hotness
the
Express.
VIP host at
Woohoo!
6.
Wait, what'd you say?
At 6?
I was the VIP host at 6.
I used to go to 6 all the time.
Yeah, I was the VIP host there for 2 years.
That's so
Didn't they have the doors
The
that
best-
fogged up
The
for the
fog-
bathrooms?
the foggy
In the
doors.
bathroom.
Yes.
The best night. That's the best lounge that's ever been in Scottsdale.
I miss those old school
I wish
clubs.
the old, though. I
Suede,
miss the
do you
old.
remember
Yeah,
Suede?
of course.
Mist,
Uh-huh.
Access,
Access
Sanctuary. Those are the good
Yeah,
old days.
I know.
I'd hate to be in my 20s now having to deal with
It
Maya.
seems so lame out
So
there.
lame. And the lines are
Yeah.
out of control now.
It's different. It's
I guess
very
when we
different.
went out, we...
I'm bummed. What a.
You wanna pick another one?
Sure, can I? Is
Yeah.
that against the rules?
No, pick another
Well,
one.
that's nice that you're so honest and you've never lied to get laid.
I feel like I don't.
Keeper, guys.
He's tall and he's honest.
Right?
What?
I don't know if I have to.
It's like a unicorn.
There you go.
Okay, this is weird because there's a question and then there's a question taped over
Oh,
the question.
some of the questions were too naughty. So read the one that's taped over.
Oh no!
Or
Hold
it could have
on.
been a dare. Some of them were dares.
Imitate the person. I don't even know.
It was
I'll
a
read the other
dare.
one.
It was a dare. I
Would
think.
you? Oh yeah, it was a dare. It was a dare.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be open to a polyamorous relationship? Great question. I would not.
You would not?
No.
What if there were two girls that were beautiful?
That,
They were like, we need a man.
always sounds great on paper. It does just, I cannot see how that would work long term. Every person I've known that's done that, let's be nice about this, that is attractive, it doesn't work. Somebody gets mad at some point and it
always
goes downhill.
ends badly.
The only time it works is when the couples are less than attractive.
I like how I was trying to be so politically correct.
It's like, here's the thing. It's like when you like think of a nude beach and you think it's going to be the best thing ever because everyone's naked. And then you go to a nude beach and everyone's there. You do not want to see nude. Every
That's
single
so
person
true.
there.
It's so
It's
true.
like those results. Is it hedonism?
Yeah.
Like I've heard that all the people there
that
are
sounds
so
like it would be,
ugly.
yes.
I'm not so politically correct.
Yes.
But yeah, I've heard they're not attractive at all. And
No.
is this true? I've heard that people carry around towels to sit on the chairs because you don't want to put like your naked butt on the chair.
I wouldn't want to put my naked butt on a chair.
But it's just funny how everyone's naked.
Yeah.
And
So I ran into a guy in Newport that was super rich and had the biggest house, one of the biggest houses I've ever seen. He had those kind of swingers parties. He was 1,000 years old. And his girlfriend was a lot younger, but still wasn't anything to talk about. And that's what was at their parties, from what I was told.
Just
I don't know because I never went to one, but still.
Sixes,
I promise I did.
Sixes and less.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, if there's not, you're never going to go to one of those parties where it's tens all over the place.
Yeah, that's true.
so have you ever had a threesome? Like a polyamorous relationship for one night?
Is that polyamorous or is
Well,
it
I
a
mean, like
threesome?
3 people, a throuple for one night.
For one night.
I mean, yes, a
it's just a
threesome.
I'm
threesome.
trying to reword the word threesome.
I will say not like I wanted, like I would want to have two. I was super young. I was like 20. I was on spring break.
You didn't enjoy it? Not your cup
No,
of
I
tea?
enjoyed it. It was just not the best scenario. It was a shower.
Oh, so physically it wasn't.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah,
But
it was fine.
it never came around
Another
opportunity-wise
opportunity.
again.
Yeah, once you
How do you
once
approach that
developed.
anyways? Like, I don't know.
Were you,
What do you guys your faces?
So how did that threesome transpire? Were you dating one of the girls?
No, it was spring break.
Oh, so just two
I'm
random
like,
chicks?
I'm gonna go take a shower. If anyone wants to join me, they can. And then
two of them took you up
the
on the
girls'
offer?
friends. They're friends. They were friends.
Okay. I feel like that's how it happens in
Spring break
college.
was fun.
Spring break,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you have any other questions?
I don't know.
Did you have any other
You
questions?
just jumped. I have tons for you, but you guys.
I knew he was gonna say that.
Ask far away.
Well, more like things like on apps, let's say. I think the whole good morning, good night texts are overplayed.
What? I don't see why people have an issue with that. I love that. Good morning. Have a good night. Because
I
it shows they're
agree.
thinking of you.
Every single day, I feel like is forced then.
If it's like clockwork, like
Yeah.
I think. Do
structured.
you mean so? Like I've heard of women who get upset when they don't get the good
Correct.
morning and good. Is that what you're
Correct.
talking
I'm
about?
talking
so I
about
think
both, to be honest.
Yeah. So like that's that. For we've talked about this on episodes before.
Oh.
And like for me, like I am not a person who needs to be like in constant communication with someone. I think it depends on the person's communication style, because I think there are a lot of women out there who are like, they need that validation from
That's
the
them,
guy that they're,
Yeah.
that's them. Yes. That's a
them
them
thing,
problem,
yeah.
not the guy that they're talking to's
When
problem.
a girl asks me if I miss them, I want to not talk to them anymore.
That's kind of creepy. Do you miss me?
Like if
say
I
that to
did,
you?
I would say so.
Yeah.
And I probably don't miss many people, if
Yeah.
anybody, except maybe my daughters. Like I'm gonna probably see you enough that I'm not gonna miss you.
Yeah.
Like if I'm a long distance dating somebody, then yes, I'll probably miss them at some point.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
sometimes it's all about them wanting to hear. I know it's words of
The words
affirmation.
of affirmation
is a
all
love
the time,
language.
the
but
constant.
I think also when I was single, a lot of guys, you know, wouldn't text me throughout the day because they have so many girls on the hop. You didn't really feel wanted or desired or pursued. So one thing I really did love about my husband was he made me feel like he was constantly thinking of me, like, hey, good morning. And I never expected him to text me, and I didn't get upset if he didn't, but it was nice to know that he was thinking of me when he woke up, before he went to bed. It just felt like, oh, how cute,
So
he's thinking of me.
I have a caveat, not a caveat, like a story for that. Someone I was dating long distance said that if you do that too much, it makes me not wonder what you're doing, like want to talk to you, that kind of stuff.
This is my thing, because I'm not attracted to men who aren't productive. And so if you're too available during the day, it makes me think, like, what are you doing? Like, are you not busy enough? Like, are you just like home playing video games? Like, and that's unattractive to me. Like, if a guy is too, like, if they seem like they have too much downtime, or if they seem like they're not a productive person, I don't like that, because
so you kind of like the game a bit. Like, you kind of like a guy to kind of leave you wondering.
But it's not a game. I just want somebody who's as busy as I am. Because
I think it might be a little game.
I think it might be a little game. I think you like a guy to...
That's what I said to her, is like, because I liked her, and I wanted to be like, you know, I have things to do. Sometimes I want to hear from you, or let you know that I'm thinking about you. And to her, it was more about not always knowing everything I'm thinking all the time. It wasn't that I wasn't busy.
Yeah.
She knew I was busy all the time, but I
just don't feel like I need to know via text every little thing that you're doing, because then what do you talk about when you're in person?
And this is what my pullback was, is like, you have to navigate a long distance relationship if you don't know how to do that. And then some things that you think you might want to do because it's long distance, you do, but might not be the best way to go about it, because you're treating it like it's not a long distance. So if someone was down the street and they're constantly texting you and you're going to see them, it's a little bit different than if you see somebody once a month.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's true. I think there just needs to be a conversation about, like, what is expected as far as communication goes.
Yeah, sometimes I'm overly communicative.
Yeah. But I think that's good, though. I think that's good.
I either am or I'm not at all.
Yeah.
And that brings me to another question. So you could meet somebody that you connect with in ways that still may not make you want to be in a relationship with them, but there's other things that are good about it.
Yeah.
And girls sometimes think that you're doing that because you're a player, but it's not the case. It's like, we have a good time when we're together, but I know that you do certain things or your lifestyle is a certain way that I would not want to be in
Which
a
is
long-term
fine, as long as you're
relationship with you.
honest with her about that. Like, I have a
when
great
you
time
say
with you, I
that,
wanna
they
spend
tell
time
you
with
you're a
you.
liar, or you're, you know, it's like that's not the case.
Well, and I think this culture of, like,
it is a hookup culture too.
It's a hookup culture, and people think that grown adult men and women can't be friends with each other without there being either, like, sexual desires or whatever. Like, it's like mature adult men and women can be friends with each other without it being romantic. Do you agree? Do you not agree? The smile on your face tells me you do not agree with that.
I think if there's situations like if you were married and then, or if I was friends with your husband or your boyfriend, then yes, we could be friends. I think that if you're attractive and I'm friends with an attractive person, would be crazy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could be friends with an attractive girl. No.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
I mean, I definitely could be friends with them. And plus, it's a two-way street. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If she's not wanting to do that with me, then we could still be friends. But like everyone says, if tomorrow he goes, you know, if you said to him, let's hook up, he would do it in a heartbeat. Yeah, more than likely.
Absolutely.
That's more than likely what's going to happen. If you're attractive to the person. It's tough.
It is.
That would be tough.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of The Meat Market. And thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank
if you
you.
want to meet Kevin, tall, sexy, successful Kevin, go to our website, themeatmarketpodcast.com, or send us a DM at Meat Market Podcast. And don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much to Tactical Tax Strategies. If you're looking to preserve your wealth this tax season and keep more in your wallet, you need to contact Tactical Tax Strategies. See you next week at The Meat Market.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I just totally got catfished. He looks absolutely nothing like his picture.
So I found out the guy that I've been dating is married with kids. His wife just reached out to me.